A very warm hearted welcome to all of you in one of the most leading and prestigious institute of civil services called Kautilya Academy, Jabalpur branch. And what today I am going to discuss is certain topics of civil services, specifically MPPSC mains, their previous year questions and the framing and the answers also. Fine. So before I went for the subjective part, first you have to clear in your mind that what is preliminary examination, what is mains ka examination and what is the interview ka approach. Make sure prelims is more or less is related with the subjective knowledge, or you can say more or less is related with the common sense. Fine. Secondly is mains. Make sure mains is more or less related with the knowledge as well as how smartly you can express your views or opinions. Fine. So make sure whenever you are writing your answer, you have to make sure that certain rules and principles are present. Fine. Like first thing, make sure looks doesn't matter. This is a wrong statement to say. Same like this, make sure that your handwriting is the most key element while you are writing any answer of your mains wala part. Okay. So first you have to improve your handwriting. Secondly, you have to make as much as you can flow charts, diagrams, maps and all that. Fine. So maps, flow chart, diagram. Second thing is framing. I will take you a brief intro of that also, that you have to mention about an introduction, a main body, and the last one is the conclusion. Fine. Conclusion, introduction and the main body. Fine. You can easily understand this structure when I used to discuss with the subjective part. Make sure this topic is of MPPSC mains 2020, paper number 3rd, unit number 7th, and this also is common in 8th also. Fine. And the topic is called as environment. Now make sure what the exact question is. Explain the major threats and effect of biodiversity loss in India and in world. Fine. So the major focus of this question is major threats of biodiversity. By putting some examples, you can easily draw the conclusion what are the effects also. Fine. So this question is common for 11 marker as well as easily frameable in the 5 marker wala format also. Fine. So this can easily fit in 5 marker as well as in 11 marker. Fine. This question was common in 2020 as well as in 2021 ka mains. Okay. So make sure if this question used to be framed into the 11 marker wala part, you have to make sure that first and the most important thing, you have to explain what is the biodiversity. Fine. What is biodiversity? In a simple manner, biodiversity is nothing but a diversity of species in a particular habitat is called as biodiversity. Don't make it too complex, because this is just an introduction. Major focus is upon the what are the threats of biodiversity. Fine. So in a 2 or 3 line ka manner, you have to explain what is biodiversity and then directly went for the major threats of that part. Okay. Fine. When this used to came into the 5 marker, you have to put only the major headings and their brief definitions. Fine. So threats of biodiversity. Fine. So make sure they are more or less near about 7 major threats are present, and you have to make sure that these are according to the importance. Fine. There are some factors which are common in all question, all answers, like global warming, climate change. Each and every student will discuss about what is the major effect of global warming, climate change on the biodiversity. So you have to take care that you used to skip that part which is common in all answers. Like first one is global warming and climate change. Fine. Second one is desertification. Fine. I will put also the examples, that's why I am using the space. Fine. The second one is ocean acidification. Like next one is wildlife trade. The next dimension is animal diseases. Fine. So make sure first of all मैं इन dimensions को discuss करूँगा, then I will for the different ones. Fine. So tell me what is the meaning of ocean acidification. Fine. So in the answer wala part, first you have to put the definition and then directly went for the threats wala part. Fine. Global warming, climate change is a highly common topic. In a simple words, due to the emission of greenhouse gases, temperature of earth used to rise by significant degrees, and this used to cause submergence of coastal area, degradation of soil, and the degradation of agricultural potential in any place. This used to cause death of mass animal life. Fine. This is a very simple to understand. This is a very common topic in all two parts. Fine. Now went for desertification. Fine. Make sure what is desertification. Desertification is nothing but a process in which you will find the desert used to shift their self in areas which are habitat of different animals. For example, make sure Punjab. You will find Punjab is a place where you can find agricultural potential is present as well as a specific biodiversity is present, but due to the shifting of Thar desert in the western or eastern part of the area, this used to cause death of many terrestrial radiation, many terrestrial animals in that part. Same like example is Vishnoi community का एक animal होता है, fine, by the name of black bug. This is also common in the Punjab Haryana वाला plain, and this used to end because shifting of desert is present. फाइन. शिफ्टिंग ऑफ डेजर्ट के लिए एक कॉमन पॉइंट है, मेक श्योर पंजाब डेजर्ट के साइड पे जो सैंड ड्यून्स शिफ्ट होते हैं, दिस सैंड ड्यून्स आर कॉल्ड एज ध्रियांस. फाइन. ध्रियांस इज नथिंग बट शिफ्टिंग सैंड ड्यून्स ऑफ थार डेजर्ट. फाइन. सो ड्यू टू द शिफ्टिंग ऑफ थार डेजर्ट, पंजाब का जो टेरेस्ट्रियल इकोसिस्टम है उसमें सीवियर बायोडाइवर्सिटी का लॉस इज रजिस्टर्ड. Fine. Secondly is ocean acidification. Make sure students generally used to skip the part of oceans, just they used to think that biodiversity is commonly present in the terrestrial part, but make sure earth ka 78% part is covered by ocean, and ocean diversity is one of the most crucial part. So you have to mention about the loss of biodiversity in ocean, and ocean's acidification is the major part of loss of biodiversity. Why? Just because of emission of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Make sure carbon dioxide used to be sinked into the ocean while air used to move over the surface of ocean. This used to cause dissolving of carbon dioxide in the ocean water. This used to cause increase in pH value of ocean water, and make sure the major animals of ocean is exoskeleton animals, you can say shell bearing animals, and this shell bearing elements are highly dependent upon carbonates, and this carbonate used to be dissolved and chemically neutralized by mixing of carbon dioxide. So you can say just because of our emitted carbon dioxide, the ocean animals are lively dissolving into the water. Just imagine about the coral reef, just imagine about the exoskeleton animals. They are live and they are dissolving into the water just because of we are emitting the carbon dioxide. Fine. So जो शेल बेरिंग एनिमल्स है या एक्सोस्केलेटन एनिमल्स है वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के डिसॉल्व होने से ओशन वाटर के अंदर दे यूज टू बी एंड. Fine. This is a crucial painful death for marine creatures. This used to cause significant loss of marine life. Fine. Nextly is wildlife trade. Fine. Make sure when you are explaining in the answer, you have to mention that 2 or 3 examples that these are more than sufficient. Do not try to put all the stuff in the answer, because a big answer, the only one characteristic of a bad answer is the answer is very long. Fine. You are trying to explain too much about the subject. So 2 or 3 lines are more than sufficient to explain. Do not try to explain each and every dimension in a major skills. Okay. Now the second one is wildlife trade. I think you are all aware about trade of animals. Fine. Like you will find, I used to put an example of I used to put example of snow leopard. Fine. Make sure snow leopard is an animal. For example, we are using the snow leopard. You can use red panda also. You will find the previous video I used to discuss about the snow. Is red panda. So is snow leopard. Fine. You can put any example of any animal. I used to put the snow leopard because this one is currently in news. Make sure snow leopard was facing severe hunting in Tibet, in Mongol, and in also part of Himalayas. Fine. In Mongol, you will find a snow leopard is hunted for their skin. Fine. I think आप सभी ने देखा होगा चंगेज खां को. Fine. Whenever you are seeing the picture of Changez Khan, he is wearing a V shape or V neck, thick cover of skin of snow leopard. Fine. So this is a tradition of Mongol to wear skin of snow leopard. Fine. Fine. So skin के लिए होता है in Mongol. Fine. Same like इसके मीट के लिए इसका हंटिंग होता है इन तिब्बत. फाइन. जस्ट इमेजिन द ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन टेक्निक इन तिब्बत यूज टू यूज द मीट ऑफ स्नो लेपर्ड फॉर क्योरिंग द डिजीज और रिलेटेड विद द स्किन और रिलेटेड विद द किडनी. फाइन. सो किडनी डिजीजेस के लिए, स्किन डिजीजेस के लिए स्नो लेपर्ड का मीट इज यूज्ड इन द ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन टेक्निक ऑफ तिब्बत. फाइन. एंड द लास्ट वन इज फॉर देयर बोन्स. फाइन. एंड बोन्स के लिए इसका इलीगल हंटिंग होता है इन चाइना. एंड चाइना का जो ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन टेक्निक्स है उसमें स्नो लेपर्ड की बोन्स आर यूज टू क्योर द क्रॉनिक पेन प्रेजेंट इन दैट पार्ट. फाइन. फाइन. सो मेक श्योर जो वाइल्ड एनिमल्स है उनका ट्रेड होता है और ट्रेड होता है फॉर स्पेसिफिक पर्पसेस. वी यूज टू पुट द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ स्नो लेपर्ड एंड वी यूज टू टेल ऑल्सो दैट कहाँ कहाँ किस किस स्पेस में इसका ट्रेड इज प्रेजेंट. फाइन. एंड व्हाट आर द पर्पसेस एंड व्हाट आर द मोड्स. Fine. So this is loss of biodiversity due to the trade. Next one is animal diseases. Make sure there are several animal diseases are present. We are just putting few examples. So you can put an example of inbreeding depression. Fine. So what is inbreeding depression? Inbreeding depression is nothing but a condition when animal used to reproduce in a particular habitat multiple times they used to breed, and just because of this genetic variation used to be stopped, and this stop of genetic variation causes death of fertile offsprings. फाइन. जो भी फर्टाइल ऑफस्प्रिंग्स होते हैं किसी भी एनिमल के, उनकी डेथ होना स्टार्ट हो जाती है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ इनब्रीडिंग डिप्रेशन. इफ यू वांट द डिटेल इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑफ दिस यू कैन वेंट फॉर द प्रीवियस वीडियो ऑफ माइन इन द प्लेलिस्ट. यू कैन इजीली फाइंड द स्नो लेपर्ड वाला पार्ट, एंड इन स्नो लेपर्ड चैप्टर आई यूज टू डिस्कस ऑल्सो अबाउट द इनब्रीडिंग डिप्रेशन. फाइन. सो द डिजीज इज कॉल्ड इन ब्रीडिंग depression. Fine. So this one is called as inbreeding depression. Fine. So this is animal diseases, this is wildlife trade, this is ocean acidification. Fine. And the last and one of the most common part is deforestation. Fine. This is deforestation. Fine. You can easily understand deforestation. What does it causes? It used to cause a loss of natural habitat. Fine. Deserts, these forests are the most common ecosystem of any area, and due to the loss of forested area, this used to cause death of diversity of that place. Fine. You can put examples of n number of places, like you can put example of Western Ghats. You will find severe deforestation is done in the Western Ghats wala part. Western Ghats. You can also put the example of Eastern Himalayas and many other places. Fine. So by this diagram you can easily understand that threats of biodiversity can easily be explainable in the 5 marker format. by putting only these headings and one liner explanation. I can easily draw an answer by using this stuff, just 2 or 3 bullet points. And parallelly, if this question is asked in the 11 marker, you can put the same thing by adding an introduction, same like I used to tell in the initial part, like putting a definition and then go with the body, like all this stuff, and used to explain briefly about this part. Fine, this is near about 5 to 6 dimension. You can also add like invasive alien species, the species which are deliberately or accidentally introduced in a particular habitat. If this used to cause destruction of the existing habitat, and this is to call as invasive alien species. Example में you can put the vilayati ki car, also known as Prosopis juliflora. Fine, this used to add more and more values on your answer. Fine, you can put Prosopis juliflora or vilayati ki car is introduced in India by the Britishers for decoration purposes, and later on this used to cause destruction of the existing ecosystem. Fine, this is a very brief and a very short timeline, or you can say a short introduction or a mind map to make a good healthy answer for your civil services mains. I hope this video will help you to build your capacity of answer writing and mains potential. Fine, for a very good luck of your mains, and we'll meet in the next part. Thank you. Have a nice day.